How does someone who has just come out of a traumatic war adjust to real life, especially if they have lost their sense of purpose and feel extremely lonely? For someone feeling this way, depression and laziness are inevitable. Do these feelings somewhere boil over into violence? Even though the movie Taxi Driver was made about 47 years ago, the themes it explores remain very relevant. Besides addressing issues like aimlessness and existential pain, it beautifully portrays the problem of loneliness that we find hard to admit to ourselves. This video's topic is truly understanding the movie Taxi Driver. Travis is a young man who has recently returned from the Vietnam War and is trying to cling to life. He works as a taxi driver, but he can't seem to get his life on track. He has no friends, no purpose in life, and no motivation to fix these aspects. However, he is deeply affected by two women he encounters in some way. One of them, Betsy, is working on a political campaign for a politician named Palantine. Initially, Travis is attracted to this woman, and they have a brief flirtation. However, Travis's erratic behavior turns Betsy off. The other important figure is a young girl named Iris. She has fallen into a life of prostitution, and from the moment Travis realizes this, he tries to rescue Iris from this path. Throughout the film, we witness Travis's unsuccessful relationships with these two figures, but there is another aspect that the film persistently underscores: Travis's loneliness. Travis is a rather lonely man. He is aware of this himself. He makes an effort to meet people, but he has social skills issues, and as a result, he spends most of his life alone, with his own thoughts. So, can prolonged loneliness lead to mental health problems for an individual? Especially for someone who has gone through a traumatic war and may not be thinking very clearly, can spending a long time alone with their own thoughts have dangerous consequences? Blaise Pascal once said, "All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone." He realized that being alone allows a person to confront themselves. However, this confrontation is often not pleasant. Typically, these introspective questions revolve around why one is alone, what their purpose is, and what they are good for. A person engaging in such self-reflection will inevitably find themselves in a state of existential anguish, and as a result, they will experience pain. Humans, in turn, seek ways to escape this loneliness. Pascal gives the example of a king exploiting the pleasures around him as a means to escape loneliness. This is because someone engaged in enjoyable activities will temporarily forget their loneliness. In today's world, examples of escaping loneliness can be found in movies, TV series, and video games. Travis's method of coping with loneliness involves alcohol, drugs, and his job as a taxi driver. Even the taxi driving job he's engaged in serves as his escape from loneliness. He goes out in his taxi at night, and the reason is not to earn more money, but because he can't sleep at night, and would rather be out in his taxi than be alone with his thoughts. However, even in this job, he can't escape the feeling of loneliness. Despite the limited communication it offers with people, taxi driving is quite an isolating job. You are like an observer among people who may not even be aware of your presence, peeking into their lives through a rearview mirror. While the cleanest solution to the problem of loneliness is socializing, the common issue for lonely individuals is their inability to socialize effectively. Travis attempts to get close to people, especially those of the opposite sex. However, his behavior is peculiar. In the beginning, his relationship with Betsy is good, but his erratic actions have also driven her away. Despite his contradictory personality, he becomes quite obsessed with the lives of these two female characters. I emphasize the fact that these two figures are women because the purpose of this story revolves around a woman. The screenwriter of Taxi Driver, Paul Schrader, has stated that he drew inspiration from his own life when writing this screenplay. Just like Travis, he has struggled with alcohol addiction and depression at a certain point in his life, and he points out that one of the main reasons for entering this destructive period was the woman he loved leaving him. In the film, Travis's unsuccessful relationships with female characters are readily apparent. So, why does Travis care so much about these two individuals' personal lives? Why does he take on a kind of savior role for them when he can't even fix his own life? Every person, especially men, has a desire to be a hero within them. There is an innate urge in people to play the role of a savior in someone's life and to fix things that are broken. That's why religion and mythological stories have remained relevant for centuries, because these stories can very effectively reflect the desire to attain heroism that we want to be somewhere deep inside us. Travis also wants to play the role of a savior in the lives of these two figures. In fact, in the second half of the film, he even designs his own hero costume. 6-shooter guns, long boots. Yes, it's clear that he's trying to resemble a cowboy. After all, cowboys have had a significant influence on American popular culture, and when you mention heroes in the 20th century, a cowboy figure comes to mind for many people. In cowboy stories, the plot often revolves around a cowboy rescuing a woman he loves or values from the hands of the villains. Travis wants to save these two figures he values from the authorities controlling them, but the depth of this character doesn't end there. To better understand Travis's philosophy, we need to delve into his past. As I mentioned, Travis is a veteran of the Vietnam War. However, we need to dwell a bit on this war because it was traumatic. Veterans who participated in this war still state in their testimonies that, even though more than 50 years have passed, they have not been able to overcome the trauma of this war. They have reported experiencing tendencies towards violence, insomnia, laziness, and existential pain as a result of these traumas. When we look at Travis, he is also experiencing all these traumas. When this trauma is compounded by loneliness, it inevitably leads to dangerous incidents. Towards the end of the film, Travis plans to carry out an assassination attempt on the politician Palantine. His decision to change his hairstyle to a mohawk just before the assassination attempt indicates that he has not overcome this inner conflict. This hairstyle is reminiscent of the way soldiers in the Vietnam War styled their hair before embarking on suicide missions. Travis is quite determined to carry out this assassination. However, at the last moment, he is spotted by a security detail and flees the scene. Realizing that he missed his opportunity to save Betsy, Travis instead chooses to rescue Iris. He commits a massacre against the gang that employs her. In a way, by killing the gang that exploits Iris, Travis can be seen as having achieved his goal by the end of the film. He's declared a hero by the media and the public and is portrayed as a savior in the newspapers. However, it is strange that if Travis had carried out his initial plan, the assassination attempt on Palantine, he would most likely have been labeled a terrorist in the newspapers. The film Taxi Driver has expanded its influence in the present day. In addition to inspiring some productions, we can say that this film pioneered the concept of the anti-hero in cinema. The concept of an anti-hero involves seeing a troubled and problematic character in the lead role of a film, rather than a charismatic and masculine hero. Although Travis tries to be a hero, he is, in fact, a true anti-hero. Even his portrayal as a hero in the newspapers by the end of the film is purely a stroke of luck. If the security detail had not spotted him during the assassination attempt, he would likely have killed the politician. What's strange is that Travis has no motivation to kill this politician. The politician has not done anything to him. It's evident that Travis, in addition to being a lonely and traumatized individual, also has mental health issues. In fact, anti-hero characters like Travis do something that classic heroes cannot. They enable us to empathize. When the audience looks at the screen, they see a reflection of their own problems in a way. Moreover, the themes of loneliness, aimlessness, and existential pain explored in this film are becoming more prevalent in people, especially in recent times. Although this film shows us a character we fear becoming, in a way, it's possible to see how much we resemble this character. I'm curious about your thoughts on this video. Please don't forget to comment, and take care of yourselves until the next video.